Yes, how can I help you today? Alright, you're looking for a seminar. Is there a certain seminar that you have in mind? No? Okay. Well, let me ask what brings you here looking for a seminar today. Okay, so you need continuing education credits. Alright, so I'm guessing there's a certain subject that you have in mind. Okay. Okay, something related to business. Okay. Alright, well, we do have a very large variety of different seminars. So I'll just ask you a few questions and we can narrow it down. Okay? So have you browsed through our catalog yourself yet? Okay. Well, I'll just let you know that we do have an online catalog, but I do also have some hard copies here of our catalog of different seminars. So I can either show you where to find our catalog online, or I can go through the manual here with you. Which would you prefer? Okay, sure. We can take a look through here. That might be a little easier since I have it right here in front of us. Okay, so first why don't I ask you first, did you have a certain date that you're hoping to take the seminar? Okay, time there. And how about the time of day? Okay, something in the morning. Okay, now we do also provide seminars either in person or on our virtual platform. Do you have a preference? Okay, in person. Alright, so let me just take a look here at these. Let me put in a couple of filters here. Alright, so pertaining to business in general, let me see. We have a lot of different seminars about business writing and advertising. Let's see what else we have. We have a lot of different seminars related to customer service. Okay, and we also have seminars in the category of management and supervisory. Let's see, sales training. Alright, you'd like to talk about the customer service seminars. Let's see. Okay, so let's see, I do have a description here, I believe. Okay, so this is an in-person seminar. This one runs on different dates in August. Looks like in the middle of August. Would that work for you? Okay. So let me just describe this first one here for you. So the overview of this course, it says transform your team to extraordinary with customer service excellence. This live instructor-led course will help your team understand the importance of adopting the customer's point of view and becoming a true advocate for the customer. Participants enrolled in this highly interactive workshop will learn how to strive for an extraordinary customer experience every time by mastering the guiding principles of customer service. Does that sound like something you might be interested in? Okay, so this seminar runs for 3 hours. There are one, two, and 3 separate sessions. Okay, so the first session is titled The Customer's Point of View. So to give a little detail on this one, taking the customer's point of view is essential to understanding what the customer needs. Define the expectations and basic needs of customers. Summarize what it means to be customer-centric and how that makes customers feel valued and important. Discuss the benefits of adopting the customer's point of view. And lastly, explain why advocating for the customer helps improve customer service for all customers. Okay, so that's the first session. Would you like to hear about session number 2? Okay, so this session will be titled 3 Guiding Principles for Customer Service. Okay, let's see. While customer service jobs can differ by industry, function, and focus, the guiding principles are the same across all customer experiences. Define the various soft skills needed to project a professional image in all customer interactions. Explain how creative problem solving can increase customer satisfaction and leave an excellent first impression. Describe what a win-win outcome is and how to achieve it. And lastly, understand the important correlation between product knowledge and customer experience. Okay, so would you like to hear about session number 3? Alright, so session number 3 is titled Handling Difficult Situations. Customer service professionals must be able to reframe a potentially negative experience and find a way to make it valuable, promising, and beneficial. Explain how to effectively manage difficult customer reactions in order to avoid a poor customer service experience. Understand how to take a solution-oriented approach to resolving problems. Recognize the 6 most common customer types and how to tailor your interactions with each. Identify techniques for coping with anger and stress in the workplace to avoid burnout. So that is all of the details of this seminar. Does that sound like something you would be interested in? Alright. So how many seminars are you interested in signing up for? Alright. I can go over a few more with you, or as many as you'd like. Let me see if there were any more related to customer service. Alright, you might be interested in this one here, dealing with today's difficult customers. Alright, let's just see if this one conflicts with the dates of the other. Okay, now this one looks like it runs the week prior to the previous seminar. Would that be alright with you? Okay. Alright, would you like me to go over the details of this one as well? Okay. So the overview for this seminar: difficult behavior from customers is at an all-time high. Since the pandemic, intensified emotions and a sense of uncertainty have raised customer expectations to new levels when it comes to conducting business online and communicating with company representatives, no matter what time of day. Customers want to feel heard and cared about as people. If your company doesn't go the extra mile to engage with them on a basic human level, customers will complain or go elsewhere. They will also broadcast their dissatisfaction and departure to the world. This live training provides the tools that customer service professionals need to confidently handle today's challenging customers. With empathy, updated communication strategies, and a service-first approach, they'll learn how to exceed customer expectations and win over even the most difficult customers every time. Okay, so this seminar also runs for 3 hours and includes 3 separate sessions. Would you like to hear more about each session? Okay. Alright, so session 1 is titled Master Service Basics to Win Over Difficult Customers. Understand how and why customer expectations have shifted. Describe the elements of good customer service. Discuss what attracts customers and what drives them away. Identify customers' emotional triggers and how to avoid them. Recognize the communication skills it takes to win and keep customers. Okay, so that is session 1. And session 2 is titled Handle Difficult Customers with Confidence. Know how to interact effectively with challenging personalities. Describe the importance of adopting a service-first approach. Identify strategies for winning over dissatisfied customers. Learn techniques for staying calm when customers push your buttons. And lastly, explain why it's important to get to the root of a difficult customer's behavior. Alright, and now session 3 is titled Exceed Customer Expectations. Assess your service from every vantage point to enhance customer experience. Explain how to improve automated systems so customers can get what they need 24/7. Identify ways to solicit customer feedback as a means of improving service. Learn listening strategies and how to pay attention to customers online and off. And lastly, recognize ways to bring out your personal best. Okay, does that one sound like something you might be interested in? Alright. Alright. So I believe these are the only two here. Specifically related to customer service. Would you like to hear about some other topics? Okay. Alright. Here is one you might like. Let's see. This one is titled Addressing Sensitive Issues with Employees. Would you like to hear about that one? Okay, let's see. It should be here. Here we are. So this one runs in the last week of August. All right. And just some of the bullet points describing this seminar. Learn how to discuss delicate topics tactfully. Review key laws at play, including FMLA, ADA, HIPAA, and more. Protect your company by strengthening policies and procedures. Explore best practices for addressing several sensitive personal issues. And find ways to support employees without jeopardizing your organization. Okay. Let's see here. Alright. So would you like for me to read the overview? Okay. Let's see. Discretion is one of your core skills. You handle employees' sensitive personal information daily, and maintaining their privacy is an ethical and legal priority. But some personnel issues go beyond ordinary, everyday interactions. Whether you're part of an HR team or you deal with your employees directly as a small business owner, talking about tricky, touchy, or highly personal topics is never easy. Do you know how you would address an employee's hygiene, or what you should do if one employee accuses another of salacious behavior? Can you monitor the accused employee to find out if it's true? Or what if someone on your team is transitioning and wants to be known as they throughout the company going forward? Balancing the organization's needs with employees' needs and rights is complicated. This live course focuses on the laws at play, employees' privacy rights, and what you need to include in your policies and procedures to protect your company. You'll discover tried and proven ways to address a number of sensitive topics with discretion, tact, and professionalism, and you'll learn how to support employees without jeopardizing your organization. Alright, so for the agenda, this seminar runs in 3 hours and has 3 separate sessions. Okay. Alright, so now we can look at the agenda for each separate session. Okay. Session 1 is titled Legal Considerations Surrounding Sensitive Issues. Discuss key laws at play with common sensitive personnel issues. Describe the ethical and legal considerations surrounding employee privacy. Understand the importance of clear company policy and procedures. Learn how to protect your company by strengthening policies and procedures. And lastly, explain how you can support employees while keeping your company's best interests at heart. Okay, session 2 is titled How to Address Sensitive Issues. Discuss the most common personnel issues typically deemed as sensitive. Describe the risks involved when addressing personal matters with employees. Explore best practices for talking about sensitive issues. Explain when it's appropriate to discuss personal issues on an organizational and public level. Okay. Now, for session 3, it's titled Guide Employees Through Sensitive Issues. Learn how to balance an employee's privacy with the organization's business needs. Understand why it's important to put the organization's best interests first. Describe how to offer employees reasonable assistance and ongoing support. And lastly, examine several case studies regarding sensitive issues and discuss ways to resolve each. Okay, so that's one you might want to register for. Okay. Okay. So let me just see what else here that you might one here, writing better business emails. Okay. Alright, so this one runs in the beginning of August. Okay, so for a overview here, correctly identify the specific audience and purpose of every email they write so they can tailor the message appropriately. How to begin with the end in mind and determine the appropriate call to action. Learn to identify the suitability of using email at work in place of other modes of communication. Match the purpose of the message to the communication style of the recipient and employ email best practices to efficiently achieve intended outcomes. And lastly, increase the credibility and impact of email communications by writing concisely and with clear purpose. Okay. Would you like to hear more about this one? Okay, so for an overview, every memo, every letter, every email or proposal you write speaks volumes about you and your organization. That's why it's so important that each correspondence that leaves your desk is crisp, polished, and professional. Email is not exempt from the rules of professional communication. In fact, clear and concise emails have a much better chance of being read and getting positive results. This seminar focuses on the fundamentals of email composition and delivery in a workplace setting. This live workshop covers a wealth of shortcuts, easy to remember tips, and insider's secrets to help you create first-class business correspondence, overcome business writing obstacles, and become a more effective business communicator. You'll learn how to write, edit, and proofread emails that project credibility and professionalism. Purposeful communications that are free from error and yield positive results. This interactive course was developed with all new content that reflects email best practices in today's modern work environment. Designed for employees who frequently write and respond to emails, this interactive one-day workshop uses scenario-based practices to provide practical writing examples as well as in-class mentorship and feedback. Okay, so would you like to hear about the agenda? Okay, so this workshop is also 3 hours and is split up into 3 separate sessions. Alright, so in session 1, this one is titled Writing with Purpose. Recognize the importance of identifying purpose and desired outcomes before writing professional emails. Describe how to determine purpose of and the intended audience for your email. Discuss how to write effectively for different internal and external audiences. Practice writing for a specific audience and purpose. And lastly, understand the importance of polished email writing skills and how they set great employees apart. Now, session 2 is titled Establishing the Role of Email in the Workplace. Okay. Define the role of email in the workplace in the context of time and type of information to be shared. Understand when another mode of communication would be more effective than email. Discuss best practices for communicating the intended message through email. Explain the unintended consequences that could result from ignoring email etiquette. And lastly, practice writing for impact. Message matters. Okay. So the last session here is titled Outlining the Mechanics of Writing Emails. Okay. Discuss how to communicate purpose quickly. Distinguish the difference between being concise and being brief. Recognize the basics of writing professional emails. Understand how to organize an email for efficient reading. And lastly, identify techniques to review email drafts for appropriateness. Okay. Does that one sound like something you might want to sign up for? Alright. Okay, so it looks like we went over, was that 3 or 4? Alright. Would you like to hear some more? Okay. I think there was another in here that you might be interested in, and that works with your schedule. So this one here is titled Unconscious Bias, the Power of Positive Psychology. Okay. And this one runs in the middle of August. Okay. I will give you the bullet points. Recognize the value of questioning certainty as they take steps to confront unconscious bias. Gain insights to how the brain works, how biases develop, and why they're bad for business. Understand the fundamentals of cognitive psychology and how to avoid errors caused by automatic thinking. Explore the power of the brain to undo flawed or biased thinking and provide more freedom of thought. Eliminate stereotypes using 5 research-based strategies to reduce unconscious bias. And lastly, investigate the costs and benefits associated with inclusive thinking and behavior. Okay. this seminar is a bit longer than the others. This seminar runs over 2 days. It's 6 hours total, 3 hours each day. Okay, so for the overview, the brain is naturally inclined to make generalizations, some true, some false, some good, some bad. When these generalizations result in stereotypes and biases, we have the power to self-regulate, to foster more positive connections, allowing individuals to communicate confidently with one another. Unconscious bias, the power of positive psychology, uses positive psychology and relevant research to teach learners how unconscious biases form and what to do when they have an unconscious bias or are a target of someone else's unconscious bias. This live workshop features highly interactive exercises. Participants leave the course empowered to demonstrate inclusive behaviors and contribute to inclusive work cultures. Okay, so for the agenda, so this is for day 1, and as I said, it's 3 hours each day, and each day is split up into 3 separate sessions. Okay, so day 1, session 1, is titled Reconsidering Certainty and Doubt, Confronting Unconscious Bias. Okay. Learn how to use doubt to question your own certainty. Describe the role of certainty in your life and how you feel when something you are certain of is shown to be wrong. Explain the value of using doubt to discover what you can actually be sure is true. And lastly, summarize how relying too much on common sense can lead to errors in thinking. Okay. So day 1, session 2 is titled Confirmation Bias, Believing what you see and seeing what you believe. Explain what confirmation bias is and the role it plays in your personal life and work life. Describe how confirmation bias could blind you to reality. Identify what cognitive dissonance is and how it makes you feel. Discuss how confirmation bias can turn into a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay. And lastly, day 1, session 3 is titled Judgment and Decision Making, Schemas and Heuristics. Discover how the way we see the world affects our behaviors and decisions. Explain how you use schemas to assimilate and accommodate new information and deal with the unknown. Discuss how heuristics take the place of good decision making when we rely on automatic thinking. And lastly, describe how availability and familiarity heuristics often lead to poor decision making when dealing with complicated problems, situations, and experiences. Okay, so that is day number 1. day number 2, session number 1 is titled Executive Functions, the Power We Have. Explain the power of the executive functions in your brain. Discuss how executive functions make it possible to overcome automatic or biased thinking. Describe how the executive functions in your brain allow you to imagine your way out of complex and seemingly intractable problems and situations. Understand how the executive functions in your brain are related to freedom of thought and action, and how that freedom makes it possible to adapt to situations and change as needed. Okay. Alright, so day number 2, session 2, is titled Stereotypes and Implicit Bias. Describe explicit and implicit stereotypes and how they relate to biased behavior. Explain strategies for dealing with situations where you feel you've been the target of implicit bias. Explain strategies for dealing with implicit stereotypes. Okay. And lastly, day number 2, session number 3 is titled The Value of Inclusion. Identify what inclusion means, distinguishing between inclusion and diversity. Summarize the moral case for inclusion that involves empathy and others-centered thinking. Summarize the logical case for inclusion by considering the costs and benefits associated with inclusive and exclusive thinking. And lastly, discuss the insights of historical leaders on the power of inclusivity. And that's it for this one. So how does that one sound to you? Okay. Alright. So would you like to hear about any more seminars? Okay. Alright, well I do think you have a good amount to think about for now. Okay. There are some more in here that you might like to read a little more about. So if you'd like, you can borrow these for a few moments. You could take these and have a look through. And when you're ready, you can come back here and I can help you to register for whatever you're interested in. And if you have any questions about any of the other seminars, please just let me know and I can help to tell you a little more about it, okay? Alright. Thank you. You're welcome. I hope that you find